Hey guys, welcome back to Enlightened. It's your host Kev here. Today we're going to be taking a look at Arthur the Warrior, as described by Geoffrey of Monmouth. Now, there's a bit of controversy around Geoffrey's ideas and histories, so just take it with a grain of salt, don't take any offence to it, but these are the words from the man's mouth.
I'm conquering the spirit, I'm busting through the ceiling. I'm following your
Concerning Uther's redoubtable son, the Welsh who claim him as a hero of their own stock have many tales and poems. They say he rose to leadership of the Britons at a time when their former Roman land, under stress of the Saxon ordeal, was tending to break apart amongst the regional rulers. It is not clear where his home territory was, but it was not in Wales itself. He had a residence at Kellerwick in Cornwall and others elsewhere. In concert with the Britons, kings or sub-kings, he won 12 victories as war leader against the Saxons. The first was a battle at the mouth of a river, the Glane, the next fought by the river Douglas in Linneus, the sixth by the river Bassus, the seventh in the Caledonian Wood or Forest of Celadon, the eighth in the fort of Guninion, the ninth in the city of the Legion, the 10th on the bank of the river Tribute, the 11th on the hill of Agned, the 12th on Mount Badon. Thanks to Arthur, the Britons at last enjoyed a real breathing space in which he and other heroes performed memorable deeds. As to whether he himself, or one of the regional rulers, or a national commander-in-chief, or a high-ranking king like Vortigern, or all of these, some of the Welsh say one thing, some another, but he definitely had a prowess in war. He had a sword called Caldefwich and a spear called Rongonomiad. At Badon he slew 960 enemies single-handedly, yet his confidence in his own leadership carried him too far. On Tower Hill in London, the head of Bran had long lain buried as a magical protection for Britain. Arthur dug it up, arguing that Britain should not rely on such talismans, but solely on the war effort under his command. This was one of the reasons why after his departure from the scene, the Saxons advanced again. Whatever his exact status, he always had a band of warriors attached to him personally. The foremost were Cai or K, C-E-I, and Bedwyr. Cai, though apt to be churlish, was loyal and valiant as a henchman till Arthur made fun of him. Arthur's verse-making gave him an honorary place among the bards. Bedwyr was noted for his skills with a spear, though some say he had only had one hand. Besides these, Arthur's retinue grew to more than 200, and he used to assemble them and hold court as the supreme prince of Britain, presiding with his wife Gwendofor. Such was his prestige that a force called Arthur's Men aided British kings without his personal presence and continued in being after his passing. Arthur was a Christian and bore Christian emblems in battle, such as the cross or an image of the Virgin Mary. Some Welsh monks, however, later recalled him as rapacious and overbearing, and told of incidents proving him so, at least towards other monks. When Saint Cadoc gave sanctuary for a long time to a man who had killed 3 of Arthur's soldiers, Arthur disputed his right to do so and claimed 100 head of cattle as compensation, stipulating that they must all be red in the front and white behind. The saint miraculously changed the colours of the ordinary herd, but when Arthur's men drove them across a ford, they turned into bundles of fern. On another occasion, Arthur burst into St. Pardon's cell near Aberystwyth and tried to carry off a fine tunic. He too, a miracle subdued him. Arthur and his companions were renowned for wonderful adventures of a more creditable kind. In the course of these, they confronted giants and monsters. He had a fierce encounter himself with a giant Ritho, who lived on Snowdon and made himself a cloak out of the beards of chiefs he had slain. Ritho sent Arthur a challenge, promising him if he won possession of his beard, he would add it to a cloak on top, in the place of honour. Arthur, however, vanquished the giant. Another time, he pursued a colossal serpent in Somerset, which was ravaging the land near Dunster. In this case, he was unsuccessful till he enlisted the aid of St. Caranog, a grandson of Coneda, who banished the monster as St. Patrick banished the snakes from Ireland. Though Caranog's biographer accuses Arthur of confiscating the saint altar and refusing to give it back till he promised to help, Kai fought Palug's cat, a speckled feline that had swum ashore in Anglesey, grown to an alarming size and eaten over 180 warriors. Many of the Arthurian fellowship took part in the bride-seeking of Culwich. A young cousin of their leader, Culwich, sought the hand of Olwen, daughter of Ysabaden, the chief of giants. Ysabaden, who was under a spell and doomed to die when his daughter married, tried to avert the wedding by requiring her suitor to carry out preposterous tasks. Arthur and his companions helped to fulfill the giant's conditions, one of the tasks involving hunting the enormous boar, Twitch Trowith. The hunt ranged far over western Britain. In the course of it, Arthur's dog, Cabal, set his foot on a stone and left a paw print. The stone still lies on a heap called Cabal's Cairn. A more uncanny adventure took Arthur and some of his fellowship into the other world. They voyaged over the waters of the Afwin in his ship Prydwen, seeking a magical cauldron in the custody of 9 maidens. On the way, they had to pass a series of fortresses. The quest was perilous and only 7 returned. Arthur had a son, Lachue. There is a disagreement as to whether Lachue was legitimate, but in any case, he is said to have died before his father and certainly did not succeed to whatever office Arthur had held. An illegitimate son, Gwydri, met his death in the hunting of Tawich Tarith. Another son, Amre, served Arthur as a squire, but Arthur personally slew Amre and buried him in a tragedy of which the record has perished. Arthur therefore seems to have outlived the offspring whom the Welsh recognise. There may however be others. As for his own grave, a poem listing the burial places of various heroes makes Arthur exceptional, and his grave is a mystery. There we go, guys. That's, like I say, Geoffrey of Monmouth. I don't agree with everything he's just said there, and I'm sure a lot of people who listen to this will disagree with some parts of that also. Alas, it is just an interesting take to show that, you know, this Arthur legacy and legend, there's a lot more to it, because it's not a case of fantasy, it's a case of historical interpretation, if you will. There's obviously historical accounts, it's just people have different interpretations of the events, places, and things like that. Obviously Alan Wilson, he's got a lot more factual stuff that goes against what Geoffrey's saying in these passages. But if you enjoyed it, like I say, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.